This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Wednesday Week. New season, new league, new manager, new hope. This is it. It's the start, lads. This is it. Pre-season is just... Podcast pre-season is just crap. It's all bollocks and rumours. So we're into it. A couple of days. We're recording on Wednesday night, so a couple of days till the season kicks off. I'm joined by John, Blair and Steve. We're here to talk and give you all the lowdown, because we're in the know, of Sheffield Wednesday. So, lads, are we all alright? How's it going?
Yeah, good.
Don't speak at once.
That's it. Thank you very much. And this has been the Wednesday Week. That's insightful. Sit down. Go on, John. How you been? Sorry, I should have been polite and introduced. John, you alright?
Yeah. Good, thanks. Yeah, we did the Gordon Watson pod. Are you hearing me? Okay? Am I froze?
Yeah. Loud and clear.
Okay. Yeah. Good, thanks. Yeah, we did the Gordon Watson guest pod, and he guested on it, which were good. Another day's passed, but another signing's been made. As you've all seen, or if you haven't seen, check out the socials. We've signed Diaby from Preston North End. Looks a proper unit, so we'll come on to that shortly. But yeah, things seem to be heating up, and the season is ever closer.
Well, it is, like I say, a couple of days away. Blair, how are you doing? Yeah, confident, aren't you, Blair? I can see it in your face.
I am confident. I mean, I don't want to go too in-depth things. Probably ask a question later, but like all these people who know nothing about our club are saying like we're going to finish bottom. Which I just find absolutely fucking insane, to be honest.
Well, hold that thought, because that could be the beginnings of a rant from Blair. There, we'll see that later. Steve, how are we doing?
Yeah, all good, mate. How are you? Loving life?
Oh, mate, I'm buzzing. I'm loving it. Can't wait. Yeah, it's season coming up, innit? We've got shitloads to talk about. There's loads of content that we're going to be putting out all season. You know, I'll get it in there. So if you like us, there'll be lots of stuff. So, right, start off. We have an agenda. I know Dan Fudge is shit. He never has an agenda. So I'm hosting. We've got an agenda. First up, we're just going to quickly talk about Luton on Saturday. Pre-season game. Everyone loves them. A first showing for Mr. Delgado in the starting line, first 45. I believe he did, didn't he? So... Quick overrun. We're not going to spend too much on it because we'll get all the people saying it's only pre-season. It means fuck all. But let's go. Start with you, Blair. Come on. Your quick 60 seconds of the Luton game.
Oh my god, it was a pre-season game.
Brilliant.
I sort of past you, Blair.
No, it doesn't. I mean, my thoughts were made on pre-season last week. I just don't care at all, and I don't want to dampen in the mood or anything. But I really couldn't give a shit about it.
No.
I thought we had some on the. I think it's the class is a turnover now, which is basically a counter attack. Some impressive passing, but you can see the ideas that they were trying. I liked the formation we're playing. You can sort of see where he's going. He's desperate for a winger because he wants his wingers to get on the ball and drive at fullbacks or cut inside and shoot, which is really exciting. You look back to Ross Wallace and Jack Hunt in the glory days of Carlos. It was brilliant, man. If we get anything close to that again, it's going to be entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, like we'll touch on Delgado, but I think the left-hand side might be, if he wants to play like that, a little bit of an issue for me. But that's just my thoughts. Stevie, your quick thoughts on the Luton game?
It was the pre-season games. I think I've been to 3 before Saturday. The pre-season games, it was the one where it showed most promise. Players coming back in. It was our strongest 11 that we put out. It was the one that needed to be closest to Friday night. And I think whilst it won't necessarily be Friday night's team selection with 1 or 2 lads that have come in, players that are coming back and players that aren't quite match ready yet, it was I had no complaints with the starting 11 when I saw it, to be honest with you. I was interested to see what it'd be like at Hillsborough playing on a bigger pitch than Doncaster, than York, than Chesterfield, places like that. So it was good to see, promising. I wasn't like Blair, and I don't think I'm not bothered about the results. It's one of those, the cliche being performance over results, but the performances haven't been there pre-season, have they? It's been pretty poor, but you can see now that with due respect to the young kids and the players that have either played out of position or filled gaps and so forth, that probably contributed to the lack of fluidity in the performances that we had. Saturday was good. I thought we looked steady Saturday. I was a lot more heartened with that performance because I think we saw each other at Rovers, didn't we? And that was piss poor, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So to go to Saturday and be in a much better position, knowing that there's more to come, I was pleased. Delgado looked good. I thought he looked steady. I know that 1 or 2 people have thought they've taken the piss out of me for the Delgado's a right back and Valentine's a right back and what's Liam Palmer going to do sort of thing. But joking aside, I don't see Delgado necessarily playing as a natural right back. I think he's been signed with a remit of getting forwards a little bit.
I had a message from Mrs. Spence. She had to hide all the sharp objects, mate. So even the missus was worried for you, mate.
Mate, I was just going to say she took my shoelaces as well. But no, you know, if it is what it is, and I think the thing that I'm interested about, and Blair said he liked the formation. I've nothing against the formation as such, because I see now that we've got to get the right players in to play that formation, and we haven't had that yet. I do worry about playing one up top. With the players that we've got, and I do worry. I know that there's a growing sort of voice around what's going to happen with Bannon, and I listened to the Hello from the Other Side earlier on, and you were talking about the potential marginalising, easing the pressure, whatever you want to call it, about what's going to happen with Bannon this year. He's definitely going to play a different role, but then so's Windass. He's also played Johnson a little bit out of position, obviously on the right hand side rather than the left. Things won't be the same, and I'm not quite sure how the established players that we've got will fit into a regular starting 11 with the new addition. So I'm curious to see what he does with that.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree with you on that. There is decisions to be made, even on the transfer fund, on transfers, and on the personnel that's already at the club. There's going to be some people that are not going to be happy, but that's football, isn't it? John, did Luton? We did get a Stonewall penalty, and I thought it was always going to go in from Smith. He's getting that confidence in for penalties, to be honest. What do you make of the game?
Yeah, I think like it was mentioned earlier, that some of the earlier pre-season games were a lot of cobbling aside together, really, because we were a bit short in key areas. So obviously, by the time Luton rolled around, we'd got a few extra bodies in and a bit more fitness, a bit more sort of mindset as to how we want to play. You can see very much that we're looking at that inverted winger system. So we'll see how that goes. But I thought performance-wise, it was much more encouraging than some of the other ones, and looked more like a game that's closer to the start of the season than when they've just come back from summer holiday camp or whatever, you know. So things, you know, some positive signs there, and now we just need a few more bodies in, and I think we'll certainly look in a lot better shape than what we did a week or so ago, when we were all sort of still thinking, you know, we need more, and you know.
Well, no, he's gone. Now, he's been sacked. He's been sacked, John. We don't need him.
Yeah. Positive signs, and let's see what happens between now and Friday.
Yeah, I mean, the pre-season could have gone, for various reasons, could have gone a hell of a lot better. But in the last 10 days, 14 days, the shoots are there, the signings we've made, the whole. I think it was praised last season about the club being a lot better with the social media, and I think that has helped Cisco as well, because he's come across really well. He has. Which would you expect? The players that they brought into, we had reservations, didn't we? Obviously, the bollocks that the chairman and owner came out about. We've got a transfer list. Darren Moore had a transfer list. We're working together. The first 3 signings, I believe, that we made were 2 players that had played with Cisco already, and a Spanish guy who he must have known about. He had feelers out anyway, so that just blown them out of the water. And then it seems that we're adding we're adding players that you're thinking now actually are exciting. We've just, at the time of recording, was it 2 hours ago, we've just signed a centre back.
Not even that. In the last hour, we've signed Bambo Diaby, haven't we? Bambo
Diaby, that's the one. Bambo number 5. Yep, it's got to be on it. I'm telling you, the Chansiri loves his money. Yeah, obviously. But think of the shirts he's going to sell if he does it. He went through the first season where we were picking the squad numbers. If he hadn't gone down to that changing room or into that press thing and gone, you know what? I'm not going to do the Dan Fudge impression of Chansiri. He's definitely going to be number 5. So he's come in, linked with some other exciting players. It's looking a lot more healthier for me. What's Stevie? Like we'll just go on the transfers, because obviously, out of the 5 it is now we've made, I believe, with Reece James being a permanent transfer now. Who are you most excited to be looking at?
Reece James makes it 6, I think, doesn't he? I've just had a quick no. So if I just read down, jump out. I think we've got James in on a permanent. We've got Delgado, Valentin, Bambo Diaby, Ashley Fletcher on loan, and Deshaun Bernard.
That's it. Bernard, yes. Yeah. Apologies, yes.
Which is good business. You know, at the end of the day, I think I was very much of the opinion that Darren Moore, if you remember, spoke about how small the squad was last year. And I said at the end of last season, it needs to be a bigger squad. This year, definitely going up into the Championship. Then we've released, off the top of my head, I think it was about 8-9 players, which reduced it even more. So I think, quick math, you were talking about a ballpark figure of 10-11 players needing to come in to be anything like in a better shape from a personnel point of view than we were at the end of last season. We're up to 6 tonight, and rough counts and rumours, I think we've got another 3 in the pipeline potentially, and that's before we open the Premier League market for loans. I'm talking about those players that we can start looking at from, all being well, touch wood, the bigger Premier League sides that are going to look to get their squads consolidated and sorted out before they say, right, young lad can go there, which certain other teams that have got promoted in this city did last year very, very well. And I'll say that. They went to big teams and got players that were really promising to help them get them over the line. So I'm excited. Varying levels of excitement in terms of the players that we've signed, because there are some that I know, there are some that I don't. You read things, let's be right, and we've had this, and Ash was very pragmatic in his statement about Deshaun Bernard when we were sort of talking about how excited we were, and I think your statement was, well, we don't know anything about him, and my point there is we know what we know based on what we've seen, and the things that we've seen make him look really, really good.
There's all, sorry, Steve. You can only go on the YouTube videos, don't you? And don't get me wrong, you're not going to have YouTube videos of him making fucking ricks, are you?
Dropping bollocks left, right, and saying, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. But that goes back to your other point where we're seeing the shoots now, and we've got something to hold on to. I'm not going to lose my head and get carried away with it and say we're going to win the league, it's promotion or anything like that. And, you know, we will do predictions and so forth later. I'm going to be very conservative in where I am and where I want to be at the end of this season. And for me, if I'm sitting here in a year's time, talking about a team that's either still in the Championship or just missing out. Again, touch big wood, just missing out on a promotion push, then that's a successful season for me.
Yeah.
I said earlier on, I like Delgado. Diaby looks like he could be a bit of a unit, and there are mitigating circumstances around his career and the things that happened when he finished at Barnsley. And he's missed 2 years for reasons that people will probably end up looking up, and they'll come back to bite us on the arse for taking him on at some point. I like Bernard from what I've seen of him. He's come through the Man United system, which means he's not going to be a mug. You don't get retained for the length of time that he's been retained, and to be the age at Man United, and he's played in Europe for him as well. So he's not going to be he's not a mug, is he? Even those that are a little bit more underwhelming because we don't know him, the bits that you see of Valentin and Delgado look good. The Fletcher situation is probably the highest risk in terms of he's not bringing much to the table on paper. But this is a really pivotal season for him, isn't it?
Yeah. For me, the Fletcher is the one that I'm a bit because all we can go through is his as a striker, as a forward. You go on stats, and mine look fucking better. But anyway, Blair. So
you scored more goals on Friday night, Ash.
yeah, and I'm a keeper. Blair, obviously, Stevie's just run down the six names that we've managed to bring in. I mean, are you surprised? Are you skeptical? What's your thoughts on them six names? Obviously, time will tell. We've just said that, and we can only judge on what we see on YouTube, Twitter, and the likes. So, what's your initial thoughts on the signings?
Up at moon, really. Like every one of them has improved the squad. Like we've got a far better squad now than we did at the beginning of last season. And 2 weeks ago, people were almost committing suicide because of how bad our summer was. And it was like, chill out, lads. It's like three weeks left till season starts. And,
that's it. It's 3 weeks till the season starts. So you would get itchy. You get itchy bollocks, won't you? Thinking, bloody hell.
Yeah, but Chancellor even said in that mental fans forum, the one thing he did say was deals take longer in the Championship than they do in League One. In League One, we could go to any player who's in League One standing and go, "Do you want to play for us?" They'll go, "Yeah, go on," because you're going to choose us over Luton Orient, or not Orient, but because they're in League Two. But Cambridge. I always use Cambridge. I feel sorry for using Cambridge all the time. But we're the big dog in that division, so we could just get who we wanted, really, who's available for that, who wants to play in League One. I mean, it's funny how Cisco's been in the job for like 4 weeks now, and he's gone, right, we've got no pace in this team at all, and every player he's signed is quick. So it just shows, but we are going to counter-attack a lot of teams next season. People are going to come onto us. Whereas last season we had the dregs of people just sitting in and frustrating us, which comes across as really boring football because we've just got to pass it sideways a lot to try and break them down and look for openings. Where this time around, people are going to come for us. And now we can catch people on the break. I think we will sign another striker, and I'm really, really thinking we might get a proper number 10, like a Forestieri, like marquee signing where everyone's going to go, whoa, get in. So that's my hopes anyway.
I do what I would like, or I would like a lot of things, but another striker, a youngster.
Yeah.
What's the like? Was it Raksaki at Charlton?
Yeah, the guy who's on the
sort of ilk. Yeah, that sort of ilk that's got pace to burn, wants to put his mark on the Championship, and obviously that would put him in good stead with his parent company, parent club, or another loan or a permanent to someone else. So that's why. But yeah,
what has shocked me this transfer window, because a lot of teams are getting stung now by EFL points deductions and stuff. But a lot of the transfer fees are quite low. Like look at Birmingham's transfer window; they've signed about 10 players, and I think the highest they've paid for a player is £2 million. So
we can't do that though, can we, Blair? We'd love to be able to spunk £2 million on someone, but
I don't know. I think we could, but I don't. But there's a market out there where you just don't need to now, especially like in the foreign market. I mean, if we're getting that lad from Monaco on a free transfer, and all they wanted is a 20% sell-on fee. One, Monaco believe, but it might come good, and they're going to get, if we sell him for 10 million quid, they're going to get 2 million quid out of it.
Yeah.
So like they believe that, and that will be like a transfer fee for them. So and if you contracted to Monaco, you got to be you're decent, aren't you? Like, don't buy into TalkSport crap who believe that any team outside of England is not a big club. Like, Monaco is a big football club.
Yeah, of course it is. They've supplied. Henri's played from Trezeguet, Mbappe. I can keep going and going.
Bernardo Silva, like, they don't pick up players that they think they're going to be crap.
So go on, John. Give me your quick. Oh, sorry, Stevie.
Sorry, off. Just on that, I think that's something that I think we need to consider when we people are picking up the phones on a Saturday at 5 o'clock and we've lost 2-1 and the kid's missed a penalty or he's had a misstep here and there. We've just listed a name of players there and gone. Monaco are a big club. They play in the Champions League. They're in. I still think they're in. Believe they're still in the top flight in France, and they're there or thereabouts. And they've got a history of bringing through world-class players. This kid might be bang average for Monaco, but if he can come in and do a job for us for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and help us consolidate in tier 2 of the Championship, then that's absolutely fine. So let's temper it a little bit and say we're not expecting a world beater, as good as he seems to be. Do you know what I mean? If he can come in and do a job for us, then we need to understand that that's the level that we're operating at.
Every player he's signed seems to be ball carriers. So it's going to be like in a couple of months' time, if it clicks, it's going to look like a complete different team like we had last season. Like, the football and everything's going to be insane. I'm really optimistic. Not saying like you see, Steve. I'm not going to say we're going to get top 6, but I think we're going to have games where like we're going to look world class, and then and then the following week looks shit. But I think it's been one of them type of seasons. And I think away from home, it might actually be a bit better away from home when people are literally coming on to us all the time.
John, give your thoughts on the transfers. I mean, we bought Bernard. I'm going to say Bernard. And he looks like he's only come on a 1-year contract, which is a bit of a little bit of a 22-year-old, bit of a worry. But it's the right age. I think Fletcher's 29, I think, but all the others have been 26 and under.
I think Fletcher's 27.
Is Fletcher? Oh, is it Delgado's 29?
Possibly.
Apologies.
I think 27.
Yeah. So, John, what's your thoughts on the transfer policy that obviously Cisco's adopted?
Yeah, well, I think firstly, I think we all want to see that direction of transfers where we're picking up younger players that are on the up. The career, they've got a high ceiling, so to speak, and we're looking at that and thinking that A, they can help the team, but B, if things go wrong and we have to sell them, we can make some money out of them. It's something that we've all been craving for a long time now. We've mentioned things like Brentford model over the years, but it's refreshing to see some signings like Bernard, and even Diaby's I think he's still quite young, isn't he? 26, 27 as well. The Masaba's an intriguing player, actually. I quite like to see how that one goes because, yeah, like you say, coming from Monaco, they've produced some fantastic players over the years. He is young. He does look like he's direct. He does look like he likes to take players on. And we all love that as fans. We all love to see that kind of play from players. So, I just think if we could keep that kind of ethos of looking at these younger players, I'm not saying we can emulate Brentford because the chairman's already said that we can't do that for some reason or other. But just to see the focus shift to players that have got a resale value and, on the up, I think is definitely the way to go. So happy so far.
Yeah, it is. It's something we've been guilty of for a fair few seasons now. Not investing in the players in the sense of buying at the right age. And yes, don't get me wrong, we have not had the funds to be able to do this. We've picked up freebies. We're paying 300 grand, 200 grand, whatever it is. But it's good to see that the club's changed a little bit and they're going towards that. Chansiri's been accused of looking very short-sighted, and this is the shoots of obviously a bit more forward planning. Because, like you said, if things go right or if things go wrong, we're looking at we've got saleable assets. Now, who's the last person we've actually sold for any sort of decent money?
Lucas Zhao.
Yeah, what was that? 4 million plus add-ons, something like that.
Yeah, and then after that it's Steve Bruce.
We never got that sellout clause from Joe.
Yeah,
and then literally after that it's like 1.8 million for Antonio.
What about Andre Green? Was it about 300 grand after 4 months or something?
He's just signed for Rotherham.
He has just signed for Rotherham. Yeah,
that's definitely that's a banker of a goal against us next season.
Yeah. No, it's good, and obviously we've said there's going to be more people coming in. The problem that I have, and I don't know if you guys agree, and people listening, is obviously we've still got 4 weeks of the transfer window.
Yep,
virtually 4.5 weeks. It's mad that still happens. That clubs, we're playing Sunderland on Friday night. That team, the Southampton. Sorry, yeah, thank you. Southampton on Friday night. I'm tired. And and that is going to look a vastly different squad from Friday to the end of August.
It will, mate.
It's just unfair. Plus, I know you can say we can bring players in, but they are turning £40 million down from Liverpool for a player.
Oh, it's wank. I could go on a parachute payment rant.
Yeah. The parachute payment thing, when you've got assets like Southampton have got, is just it's
the
harsh.
reason we got our points reductions because we tried going toe to toe with these teams, and then because we spent the money, which we couldn't put. That's what's dicked us in the end.
Yeah, we're still paying for it now on 10-year season tickets at £8,000 and £800 for your season ticket. I'm sure that's not the reason.
Yeah, Reading's done the same. Reading were paying. I think they were paying 230% on wages compared to their turnover. So like more than what they could afford. Like it was just like insane how much money they tried to spend to try and get promoted, and it didn't work.
Well, it's funny you should say things like that because it's quite a good segue to the agenda item next on the list. So this week has been it's always fun on Twitter and social media. Sheffield Wednesday hashtag. Sheffield Wednesday fans and supporters go from one extreme to the other. They go from knowing how to run a football team squad, and they go to being a football manager. They go to being an agent to being a financial expert when the books come out. So this week we've had all of sundry on Twitter getting the calculators out and obviously doing a deep dive into Sheffield Wednesday finances. To be honest, I have not got a clue what my own finances are every month. Mrs. Rogers, she's a whiz. God bless her. She's great. So for me to look into a multi-million-pound business and look at all their ins and outs and things, I tend to go to Kieran Maguire or other people. I mean, Pete Lohman, he likes his stats as well. Big shout out, Pete. To me, on the idiot's guide of looking at them, it was quite positive. From the turnover and then obviously the expenditure of wages that halved from 21-22.
Thank you, Adam Weech and Jordan Rhodes.
It was great to see, and it just shows that I think Chansiri and his advisors are learning a little bit, and it's taking time. He's been there 8 years now and probably lost, 300 odd million, I think someone's put it down to. But it was
132.
Like, what?
132. Sorry, he's put in.
Oh, is it?
Stand corrected. There's 132 million gone in.
But get him out.
Yeah, no. We're not going to start that because Twitter is proper divide on that, and we are not the ones to
It's not divided by it. It's about 10% on him out.
We're not the ones to judge that one. So, has anyone actually looked and give it a good looking over the finances, or does it bother you?
No.
Don't get me wrong. In the sense of it bothers you that you're going to be paying £59 for a home ticket is going to bother you.
You're not though, are you?
Five
no one's paying that money unless we get to the play. You know, I mean, one game to get to the top 6, or I don't know, we get to the quarter final. I know it's the headline.
Everyone goes to.
It's
so
what runs
the
it's what runs the narrative as well, doesn't it?
It is, and that's what we're going to.
How much the Preston North End ticket? It's what, £30? That's a 44. I think it's 42 on the south stand. It's a bit less than 59, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you know, no one's going to talk about that because it don't fit the narrative, does it?
Well, it all depends on what group game they're going to say. If Chance Series said if we're doing well, the grouping will be higher. We're not.
So if we got to a quarter final at Hillsborough against, I don't know, Manchester United, and it went.
These are only league tickets, though, aren't they? They're not going to be cup tickets. Cup tickets are different.
Well, people still pay it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So the finances that have come out, are you that bothered?
No, I mean the only good thing about it is that it shows that we're further away from the £30 million threshold than I thought we were, and what everyone thought we were. Beginning of July, everyone was thinking like after that fans forum, shit, have we really like got no money to spend on wages and stuff? Are we really like on the brink of breaching FFP again? So on the positive side of things, I think the loss is 7 million. So we're 23 million clear. It's mental how a £7 million loss is classed as a positive thing, but that's football finance for you.
100%
we're 23 million pound in the clear of FFP. That being said, we're now in the Championship, and when you're in the Championship, you do get more TV revenue and stuff, but you also get people wanting more money to sign for you. So it's like, what do you do? Do you know what I mean?
It's offset. The money that you're going to get from any sponsorship, TV rights, anything is instantly offset by wages, because I would guess, and this is not me being thing, that the percentage increase in wages that players will ask for, is going to outweigh the percentage income from Championship. I would guess that. I don't know.
The only negative on the accounts, and this is why we need Chansiri, and why he doesn't like love the club like we love the club. Like, he's adopted the club, and he might love it now, but he'll never love it as a diehard fan. He'll never understand it much as a diehard fan. But he pours millions of pounds into it, and people complain and pouring £40 a week into it. Anyway,
but that's all relative, Blair. That's all relative, isn't it? At the end of the day.
So the club owes more money out than it's worth. That's like the only negative one no one seems to have picked up on.
And they're all loans to him, aren't they, as well?
Yeah, so it's all to him. Yeah,
which is, it's not really a positive, but it could be worse.
Yeah, it could be worse.
You could be having a winding up
us.
Position.
Yeah,
from the
he
HMRC.
loves us. Like, he loves us, and he doesn't want to leave us. But it's like, if he really did turn the tap off, we would be genuinely fucked. And it also made me think, like, imagine like if Mandrich didn't sell to him and Mandrich was still in charge of the club, like, where would we be? I think it would be like bottom half of League One, because football finance has just gone mental. Like, how much money you need to like pump into it now to have a successful Championship team. You
would drive yourself mad. All four of us would drive ourselves mad if we thought of what ifs, buts, maybes.
Yeah.
If so-and-so bought us, if not, we can't. We can only go on what we know now, where we are this season, and thankfully the finances are perceived to be going in the right direction.
But yeah, but it's half the wage bill, and the loss is £7 million, which is a positive, which is mental. But that's football. There'll be a lot of teams in this division who will be loss of like 28 million and really on the brink of breaching it.
Yeah, I would say. Go on, sorry, John.
No, I was just going to say, I think, I don't delve too deep into it myself. I recognise it's important. I also recognise there's been some improvements and there's still areas to improve. This kind of thing will continue to happen until we get either a salary cap in, or the independent regulator becomes a reality and puts some more sensible sort of parameters within what you can lose and what and what your budgets are and things like that. But we're better than we have been, but there's still room for improvement. Does get a bit frustrating when you see like Josh Maja signed with West Brom, and you think, well, their parachute payments dried up, but they've signed a free player. But they're still better run than we are at the moment, aren't they? But we can only hope that we're improving that in that aspect. And
They sold a play for £7 million, don't they?
Yeah. That's that, isn't it? And I think Stoke have done something similar. Their owners wrote off a lot of their debt as well, and they seem to be having another push as well after seemingly blowing their parachute payments. So
that's just Alex Neil getting the band back together, like every player. So.
I think for me, it's good. We're not going to be the worst in the league. We're not going to be the worst financed out of the league. Cardiff have got all sorts of problems off the pitch. We are in. Yes, we're not paying £1 million for players. We tried that. Jordan Rhodes, people wanted him. The chairman listened and didn't work out, did it? So
spent £3 million on David Jones, for fuck's sake.
That was an awful signing. Yeah,
and he was awful. He was terrible.
I had removed that from my memory. So obviously, finances, we're pretty positive. What we're going to do now, because we've gone halfway already, lads. I mean, it's easy talking shit, isn't it? Really good. We're gonna do a bit of a season preview. So obviously, start of the season, it's silly season for rumours of transfers, and it's also silly season because everyone thinks they can predict the league. So we've all seen, and everyone on the Chef Wednesday hashtag have seen, every podcaster, every YouTube channel, every championship, think they know it, has got us, believe it or not, guys, anywhere between, I think it's 20th and 24th, finishing the league this. So how do you all reckon? Do you believe them? Do you think we're going to pull a rabbit out of a hat and obviously prove everyone wrong? Or do you think they've only judged that on probably the 4 weeks previous, and the last couple of weeks is probably going to change people's minds? Steve, I'll start with you. A little bit of a season preview. How do you think we're going to crack on? Where we're going to finish, and a little bit of positivity. Come on.
I think there's much more reason to be positive tonight or this week than there were 10 days ago. I think when we came out of we came away from Spain, and it was that weekend when I think the low point of pre-season was the Joey Pooty business. And at that point we'd gone, right, we've not signed any players. We've had to play all these youngsters. We've gone to York because it's not right yet. And I sat at York, and there was a whole debacle about which player was which and what numbers were being worn and so on and so forth. But the two lads, both of them, to be fair, it didn't matter who wore which shirt, the two lads on either side, and Pasiri looked really, really good that day. And then there was a period of maybe a week or so where you kind of went, this might be what we've got for a period of time until we get people over the line, because all the rumours were coming and people were talking about, certain players potentially coming in, and, we might be struggling to get other players in. And, that whole stuff that you talked about at the start of the pod, when we've had to make content for content's sake because there was nothing else to talk about, sort of thing. It was shit. It was poor, I kept going back to the Darren Moore statement at the playoffs between, I think it was either between the Peterborough games or between Peterborough and Barnsley, where he said, whatever league we're in, we've got a plan, we're going to budget, and, this is where we're going to be going. But whatever happens, I want my business done early. So I've come out of Wembley thinking, right, pre-season starting end of June, early doors. We'll have players in. We'll have a full squad, full complement. We'll have these players, marquee signings, all done and dusted. And we're sitting here on August the 2nd. And I think I'd have expected to be where we are now 3-4 weeks ago. Yeah. Having said all of that, like I said, the signings that we've made have been really positive, and really heartening, with maybe 1.5 exceptions. And the ones that we're still linked to, for goodness sake, say what you want about the guy, but we are being linked to an AC Milan goalkeeper. And if somebody tells you on the 1st of June that you are going to sign a goalkeeper of any stature from AC Milan, you're going to look at it and go, okay. So you'd take it, wouldn't you? And that would be it. So the business model has taken a sidestep, maybe a step back. or the transfer activity has taken a step back and maybe 2 steps forward, hopefully, touch wood, as we're talking tonight. All of that being said means, from my point of view, that we are going to be better off than people think that we are, than the neutrals think that we are, because I think it was a Second Tier podcast that's triggered most people, hasn't it? Where he's got his rock bottom and he's turned around and he's gone, this has happened and that's happened and that's happened and that's happened. And all his justification for everything that was said seems to have been read off the back of a fag packet, or it's almost as if he's gone, right, I'm going to have my morning constitution, I'm going to sit and I'm going to scroll before breakfast, and this is what people are saying, and that's what people are saying, and this is what's happening, and that's what I'm going to say about about Sheffield Wednesday. We're not going to finish 24th. We're not going to finish bottom, not necessarily because of performances, but as we've alluded to with the finances, people are going to get points deducted this year. I think that will happen. I don't think we will, and I think people will be worse off than us for that. With my pragmatic hat on, I'd take 21st. I would. I'd be happy staying in the league, but I actually think that we've got a real good chance with the business that's being done, and these players are potentially dropping bollocks in certain areas. Diaby's got a rick in him apparently. Bernard, might make a mistake here or there. That's going to happen. We will make mistakes, and it's about us understanding that we're not pushing for a promotion from League One. We're trying to consolidate in the Championship. And Xisco is quietly going about his business and building a squad that will do that. And I think we'll be all right. We'll lose some games quite heavily. But I also think we'll play an attractive style of football that has me more positive than I was. I'm looking forward to seeing who else he brings in. And I think that loan market, as you get towards the end of the month, the last week, 10 days before the end of the transfer market, the deadline day when, the Premiership teams start to iron out their their squad lists and say we can allow this player to move on, that player to go. That'll be when it gets really interesting again. There'll be a final kick, and I hope that we've left something in the tank to sort of say, right, we can have a look at Arsenal or have a look at Man United or somebody of that ilk and say, right, you've got a young lad there at 18, 19, 20 years old that we're going to get in, and hopefully he's going to come in. Young legs. I think Blair was the one that said he wants a 10 marquee signing. I don't want a 10, I want a 9. I want somebody who all our players behind him can go and provide crosses for, can give the ball to, go and put the ball in the back of the net 15, 20 times next year, wherever we finish. Go and build a career for yourself off the back of a good season at Sheffield Wednesday. And if he does that, we will be absolutely bang on this year.
Very comprehensive there, Steve. I don't think there's anything that I can...
I didn't say anything about the finances, so I thought I'd have a rant.
No, I mean, I'm not one to always agree with you, I think, but I don't think there's anything there that I do not disagree with. I feel the same. I think number 9, a youngster, like I said earlier, that'll put it in for us.
Name of
John.
yours.
Yeah. I mean, on paper, the Championship next season looks absolutely ridiculous, doesn't it? You've got Leicester, you've got Southampton. They're gonna be fancied to go straight back up with the players that they've already got and the finances that they have. I think it's always rash to be putting season predictions out. These people that do that right now, it's a bit early. A lot of business will happen towards the end of the window. So I think right now they're probably just doing that for clicks and slow news and off season fishing there. But I mean it's difficult. I think we it's going to be hard for us. I agree. We will get some bad days where we'll go down 2 or 3-0, maybe heavier sometimes. But I think what I like about Xisco is he's not going to. He's going to bring that togetherness and that we're in it all together, and that team spirit that seems to be his sort of mantra there. I do believe we've got some more players to come in as well before the window shuts, because obviously the Premier League squads, they don't do their 25-man squads till later this month. So hopefully we can steal somebody off one of their squads and he can thrive in the Championship. We've seen that happen before at this level, and I think some like the Arsenal youngsters have gone on loan before there, and some have been chased, like players like Balogun, who's they're turning 50 million down for him. Players like that now as well. So if we could steal a nice, promising striker off one of the big hitters in the Premier League, that could serve as well. If we get the players in that I hope we do in terms of like quality, not necessarily names. I can't throw any names out there. I'm going to plump for 17th, and I'll be well happy with that.
17th, wow, John, I would be more than happy with that. I think that's bold. I mean, it could happen. It could be, couldn't it? We make these predictions. We're doing it exactly like you said. We're doing it really early on. There's still a lot of business to be done by every team in the league. Ins, outs, shakes it all about. It's going to be interesting. But 17th, oh, go on. Yeah, I'd snap your arm, leg, and your head off for that. Blair, what's your little?
Let me talk to you.
Oh, here we go. Right, sit back, everybody. Adjust your ears. Let's go.
Every player which brushed Newcastle aside at Hillsborough still on our books, pal. when top of the league, Plymouth came to town, what happened? Smashed them off at Bath, and all let me see you later, lads. We'll brush them aside. Every player still in our books.
This is the positivity everyone's tuned in for, Blair. This is it.
We've strengthened the squad. We've got ball carriers now. We're playing more attacking football. We've got it's going to be fucking great next season. We're not going to get top 6, of course we're not. But we're going to be more than comfortable. Come 35 games in, I think we'll have 50 points by 35 games.
Can I just say one thing on that though? The worry is if it doesn't go well early.
Carlos had 5 points after 5 games.
Oh, he won 1 out of 8. And don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about that. What was going to say, it will be what it will be. But and I won't even talk about the fan base because we are part of that. We are fans at the end of the day. We're not experts. We're not journalists. We are people. No, we're not, are we?
Do you know what I mean? Far from it, Stevie. We are not experts.
We get together, we have chats, and we love the club, and we meet up on match days and we do bits. But we are influential to what is going on, and we all know that. We all know that people at the club will pay attention to what's happening. And if there's negativity around the club, that will feed into what's happening behind the scenes. I genuinely believe that, and I believe that our wonderful and vaulted boss will be swayed in certain ways by not necessarily financial and business, but if he's not happy with how people are responding, then he's gonna the potential for a knee-jerk reaction is going to be there. And if Chisco's not quite getting it right, but we think he's on the verge of something.
My next point.
Shut up. Chancery's being patient. Then the worry is he then going to pull the trigger and we're going to take another 3-4 steps back?
My prediction is that we will finish 20th, but that's being realistic. I will accept that, but what I will accept as well would that we may go on a run where we don't win in 5 or 6, because if you finish 20th, that's what will happen. But it's exactly what you just said, Steve. It's how the fans accept that, the players, the manager as well. It's not going to be easy. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter even if like Southampton spent millions, they've got millions, they're going to sell millions. They will find it difficult some weeks. They're not going to. I don't believe that
they lost every week last season. We won a lot. We won every week last season. It's going to be a good game on Friday night. It's
two leagues apart, you muppet.
Don't matter. Newcastle,
Wrexham are going to win the Premier League because it doesn't matter because they got 100 odd points.
No, a lot of their players want to leave. They're going to come down. They want to leave. They don't want to get injured. Like Ward-Prowse don't want to be at Southampton next season.
He doesn't, of course. Of course he doesn't.
And we played Southampton last season. We matched
them.
We had Backinson in midfield that day.
Well, yeah, we did, yeah.
John was going to say something really profound and then went Backinson in the midfield.
Sorry, Tyreek, if you're listening.
That proper Chuck cold water over that one, didn't it? But no, it's a very unpredictable league. But one thing I will say is that traditionally Wednesday have suited the underdog, whether it's been individual games or like predictions for the season. The underdog tag suits Sheffield Wednesday really well, so that's why I went for a little bit higher than some of you in 17th, and obviously that's why Blair's gone even higher than that. Although he didn't give us actual position, but are you thinking pushing top end? Blair, you thinking top 10?
I mean, if we got 12th would be probably the highest we'll finish, I think. But...
Well, I like to say that I would be more than happy. Yeah, I would be more than happy with that. And I agree with you, John, on that tag. We played Southampton, a good showing last season. Played Newcastle, fantastic showing. One-off games. This is 46 games of. It's going to be.
But not every team's good in the Championship. There's some shit in there.
Yeah, of course there is.
I think that's the thing. The problem is, if you look at it on paper last year, nobody's going to argue that on paper the league this year is stronger than it was last year. With due respect, and I'm not saying it because it is Sheffield United, Leeds, Southampton, and who else came down? Leicester. Is stronger than Luton, Sheffield United, and Burnley.
Yeah.
If you aggregate it, they're as strong as it. So automatically they're better. The teams that have dropped out, Wigan, Blackpool, and again, can't think of who the other team won't be as strong as the teams that weren't as strong as the teams that have come up. You look at that. You look at League One last year, and you can talk about the quality in League One. But the lowest point, the team that finished third got 96 points. And it wasn't good enough for promotion, and all three teams have gone up. That's insane. That will never happen again. So on paper, Championship is much more. The Championship is much stronger this year. But then you look at teams that have potentially struggled last year. You've mentioned Birmingham. Birmingham have done great business this year. If you would have gone back to the end of the season, I'd have had Birmingham walking out of Wembley. If I'd have looked at it the Tuesday morning, Birmingham were going to struggle. Huddersfield are going to struggle. You don't know where we are in terms of teams like Cardiff and Huddersfield, those perennial mid-table teams, and that's what they are now, even though they've been in the Premier League. For whatever circumstances, the best that they can hope for, in my opinion, based on what we saw at the end of the season to the start of pre-season, was mid-table. But you don't know now because other teams have done other business. West Brom weren't worrying me, but then you look at the players that they've signed, and all of a sudden they've gone from a bottom-end middle, just outside the playoffs to somebody that potentially could make a charge for it. And when you look at it and you look at every team on its merit, you kind of go, oh, that's good. They've signed Meyer today, Josh Meyer, or yesterday, and you kind of go, oh, we could have done with him because he'd have scored goals for us in West Brom team. What's he going to do? Then all of a sudden, when 5 other teams do that, you're kind of thinking, shit. But everything that we've said is right. And I said it on the podcast last year. The team that we had that went up last year wasn't going to come straight back down. I didn't believe that at the time, but it's just the Darren Moore going, the Chansiri nonsense, the lack of activity has all of a sudden taken that belief and that expectation and dropped it to there. And then all of a sudden everybody else has taken their stuff and gone to there. Yeah. And we've kind of slid down a little bit.
We're still at the same play. The players wouldn't have lost confidence, though. The players will still be a confident bunch. They've won a lot of games last season. They turned around a 4-0 deficit.
Hey, listen.
Just because the fans went mental and realised and thought we were going to get relegated, like the players won't believe that.
No, I'm not. But the players will have expected. The players will have expected some of the mates to move on. That will have happened, and that happened. They'll have expected business to have been done early because the manager at the time, who, let's be right, was there because they were his players. And I'm not being negative, and I don't want to drag or bang on about Darren Moore. That was the spine of that squad, the heartbeat of that squad was Darren Moore's team. He signed the majority of those players to go and do what we've done. Yeah. So for him, they all expected him to be there. So there's no getting away from the fact that whilst I'm saying what I'm saying about last season, we've had to go and have a reset. And I like Chisco, and I like what Chisco's done. I didn't want Smith, and I didn't want Nathan Jones, and I didn't want all the other people that we were associated with. I was kind of meh about Chisco, and then he's come in. You look back at his record at what he did at Watford. I don't give a damn about what he's done in Georgia and what he's done in Cyprus. Totally different leagues with totally different players. You know, you could put Guardiola in there, and he's going to struggle because it's what it is, isn't it? The bottom line is he's come back in now. He's come in now, and he's having to start with those players. Windass is playing in a different position. Bannon will have a different role and responsibility this year, which is going to impact on Volks and Byers. We don't, you know, Marvin Johnson, he's much maligned. Technically, I don't care what you say about his performances. Technically, that guy's as good as we've got. His first touch is ridiculous. It's absolutely insane. When he crosses the ball well, he's as good a crosser in the league. He doesn't do it consistently enough, but he's moved from left to right. He's gone from playing left wing back to right winger. So all of these things are changing. The dynamic of our club is going to change next season. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't think it is quite as straightforward as like Blair is saying. We've won quite a few games last season. That's going to carry on through 8 weeks later or whatever it is to the start of the season. Next season, it's going to be easy because we've won a fair few games. It's from finishing against Barnsley at Wembley to starting against Southampton on Friday. Yes. 90% of the personnel may be the same, but the club and the squad is totally different. Totally different. So I believe we are starting from scratch. It is. I'm excited to see what's happening. It would have been good, but to keep Darren Moore because I think 99.9% of people would have took him into this season and gave him a chance. Not to be. We brought someone else in. So that's
King is dead. Long live the king.
There we are. And on that note, John, thank you very much. Well, so obviously I've mentioned a couple of times now. First game of the season, Southampton home. Sky have pulled a right fucking rabbit out, aren't they? Here, let's get a team that's been relegated, a team that's been promoted. Let's get them on the opening game of the season, and we'll put it on Sky Friday night under the lights at Hillsborough. Blair, excited?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I thought you would be.
I just can't wait to get out of the house and watch some football, to be honest.
You do know there is other football you can go and watch. You know, there's like loads of non-league teams that have been playing, or your local Sunday league pub team.
I know, but you're just not invested, are you? I mean, it's still fun. Like, you still enjoy it. You're just not invested, are you? You don't.
You mean your £500 season ticket you've invested? You mean?
No, I'm really looking forward to it. I think.
Fucking kids going at food bank and everything now. Blair's going at football.
We're looking. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I really just can't wait to see a few faces and just have a few pints and just have a laugh. I think the atmosphere is gonna be great. I think against Newcastle, we only had like 26,000. I think against Newcastle, and the atmosphere is still one of the best at Hillsborough I've experienced for a long time. So just because it's not 35,000 doesn't mean the lot what turn up on Friday night can't play the parks. They can. I think the team really need us to push on. Southampton are vulnerable because they're used to losing a lot of games. They haven't got that winning momentum yet going. If we let them get on top, it will be a very, very difficult game. But if we unsettle them first 15 minutes and let them know that they're in for a battle here, it's not going to be easy coming down to the Championship. I think we've got every chance of nicking it, maybe 1-0, but realistically, it's probably going to finish 2-1 to them. But I think we have got a chance. I wouldn't write this completely off.
See, I had this chat on another podcast earlier today about when was going to be a good time to play Southampton, and I said, well, this is a shit time to play him. They've still got James Ward-Prowse, they've still got Romeo Lavia, they've still got other players that they will probably move on. Not that they want to, but they probably need to, because the money that they're going to get offered is going to be stupid. So, and then I was pointing out, it could be a good time to play them because, like you said, like you've just said, they've been losing. They've got a new manager themselves. They've got to adjust to a new system. They haven't had a very good pre-season, but you've got to play everyone twice, haven't you? And it's just false economy to think that because we played them before the 1st of September, 2nd of September, that we're going to have a tougher game. What do you think, Stevie? Is that am I reading too much into this? James Ward-Prowse and and Lavia, they may not even play because obviously if they are in discussions of moving on, you don't want to get injured, do you? Hillsborough on a Friday night.
I think if they're still at Southampton, they'll play. But I am very much same page as you. It's going to be a different animal at the end of August than it is to the start of August. But yeah, and those points around, the players coming down, the quality that they've got. Joking aside, we did match them. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what side they put out in the League Cup, whether it was a full strength side. I think it was the only game that I didn't actually watch last year because I was doing something else. But I would rather play them, end of September, beginning of October. The only flip to that is that, let's say for argument's sake, they do sell these players on, and we take finance out of it for a moment or two. They will recruit, and they're going to have a scouting network that are going to look to get in players that are tried and tested and proven for getting teams out of the Championship. So it might work against them. It might work for them if they lose Ward-Prowse and they lose Lavia and anybody else that goes. It might very well be that they then go and sign a lad with 4 promotions on under his belt that can go and say, right, I'm going to come and fit in here, because the style of play is going to be different. Ward-Prowse is used to spraying a ball about at Tottenham Hotspur, at Arsenal, at Chelsea. He's not going to be used to coming to a rust bucket like Hillsborough. And I love our ground, and I wouldn't want to leave it. I'd like it to have a lick of paint, but there are different grounds. Ipswich is a traditional ground. Plymouth is a small sort of intimate setting where they're travelling as far as they're Plymouth for Southampton's a different story, isn't it? But it's going to be a different sort of context in terms of the stadia that they go to. So from my point of view, there's an outside chance it could work against. I think just on Friday, Blair made a really good point. There's no atmosphere or sort of feeling that I've ever experienced at a live game of football watching Sheffield Wednesday than the Peterborough game. That was absolutely unreal, better than Wembley. And I've been to Wembley as many times as we've been. That moment when the goal went in, when Lado scored and took it into extra time, was probably the highlight of me being a football fan supporting Sheffield Wednesday. If we can...
Lado.
My boy.
Like that. That's it. That's this season's LP2, isn't it? Lado is going to be hashtag Lado.
If we could listen, if that moment when they walked out, and bless his heart, God rest his managerial career with us, Darren Moore was on the screen. There was a feeling of optimism at kickoff, and there was a noise that was being that was being emitted, and we need that Friday night. We need to cut out the negativity. If the 4 isn't working and we're used to a 3, if Johnson starts and he starts on the right and it isn't right, and I'm not saying he will or he won't, if we've got Smith up top, if Fletcher plays and puts 3 wide, we've not got to get on the backs. We've got to be behind them and try and lift this team. And until it settles, we've just got to get behind and trust the process. I'd take a point tomorrow, if I'm honest with you. I want to be as optimistic as possible. If we can get behind them, I think a point's a good result on Friday.
Yeah. John, how do you see it playing out on Friday?
Well, it's the Sanderson derby, isn't it? Well, we're all looking forward to that one. I think, to me, there's no better time to play, and they're coming down as a team that's there to be shot at because they're expected to go straight back up. We're coming up as a team that's been written off by everybody, as a team that's going to be fancied for relegation, or at least to be in that relegation battle. Under the lights at Hillsborough on a Friday night. This is the perfect time to play Southampton. I really do. And hopefully by that pull more signings as well. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's brilliant to be back in the Championship. It's not where we want to be. We want to be higher, but we've been wanting that for over 20 odd years. But it's nice to be back playing in a league where you just one good season away from being back where you want to be. So all that optimism, I think, will emanate from the fans from that game, from kickoff. Positivity, I think, we can play a big part. I'm really looking forward to it. It will be a tough game, but I'm fancying us to sneak it 1-0.
Oh. Yeah, John has full gone balls in, proper positivity. That win 1-0 Friday night. Yeah, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I'm going to agree with Stevie. I think a draw point will be a good result. Roll on Friday, innit? That's it. Like Blair said, looking forward to football coming back. He's obviously not been watching the Women's World Cup. So it is Friday night. Season kicks off. Guys, have we got any other business? I do have some, but I will go to the floor first.
We've not talked, and I wonder if my business is the same as yours. And I was going to give you a little bit of a nudge to talk about the stuff that we've been.
You go ahead, Steve, because
no, I wasn't. I was mate. I'm literally going to I just wanted to signpost obviously we've got the community stuff that we've done, and this week we've the raffle, finally the longest raffle of all time, trademark, finally finished. And for people that haven't seen it on the socials and weren't aware, is this yours, by the way?
Is this my what?
Ash, is this what you were going to talk about?
Amongst other things, yes.
Your AOB.
Yes, carry on. No, amongst other things.
By the way, great content. Yeah. So as I was saying, we've launched an initiative, and as a podcast, what we want to do is obviously give a little back. And there are lots of reasons why we've decided that we wanted to do this. And yes, it does involve a bit of money, but I want to make it clear that we are not for profit. We're not trying to make money for ourselves. We're not trying to build a career or anything out of this. But we've come together as a group and recognised how challenging it is to be fans of this wonderful football club that, bottom line, we all love. And we're attached to in a certain way. And Ash is the guy in the driving seat. He doesn't like talking about it from a personal level. Everything that you see behind the socials is what Ash is doing. And when we put the raffle up, we expected to be able to cover the cost of a shirt and maybe buy a ticket. And we've been blown away by the generosity of our network of fans that listen to the pod, that have seen it on social media, that have come and got involved. For £1, we've managed to raffle off a shirt. It's an authentic, not one of these DHgate shirts, by the way. Ash went down on Saturday and bought the shirt, put it in a bag. We've given a couple of stickers away with it, and he's gone round on Sunday, and he's given the shirt to the lucky winner. And we really buzzed off that behind the scenes, and we're really looking forward to having more sort of initiatives that can make going to watch the club and being involved with the club a more accessible experience. Because at the end of the day, we get that people are finding it difficult, and the furore around paying, whether even £42 is a lot of money nowadays, isn't it? So if we can help to bring the community together to then look to provide, on whatever scale it is, something for somebody to get involved with the club, I think that's really important. I think that's something that we all feel at our core, and I'm really proud of what we've done. And I think Ash deserves a massive pat on the back for the work that he's done behind the scenes to get that off the ground. So yeah, that's mine.
Yeah, it's really good to hear that. And I think it's brilliant, because we're a podcast that just wants fans to listen. We don't expect anything from you but your ears or your eyes, whatever you're doing. YouTube, Spotify. We don't ask for money. We don't ask for Patreons. We just ask for you to listen to a group of guys and girls who just love the club and love to talk about it, and want to give something back. And Ash has been tremendous in his efforts to do that, and along with the rest of the team, and putting that on the socials and everything. So it's really great, really great.
No, bollocks! I'm not having that. It's a team effort. We're all in it for the greater good. We just want to do something. It's going to be a bit of a thing of ours this season, so we don't apologise if we keep bugging you for things. We don't ask for money. It will be raffles and things like that, because we just want the youngsters that can't afford to go or love to experience football to be able to just go to Hillsborough once, and that's where you get falling in love with it, don't you? You go. And if any youngster who can't afford to go gets to experience a night like Peterborough, a night like Newcastle, I am sure they will have blue and white blood for the rest of their life. And that's what we want to do. So it's going to be like that. We're going to have other raffles. We have got so many great friends from the podcast that we've met on Twitter and things that have been donating things for us, and there's a big shout out to those. I won't mention them because they don't want it, and rightly so. They're doing it out of the greatness of their heart. It's great. So sorry for the last 3-minute ramble, but it's something that we feel really strong about on the podcast. It's good. We've up to now, I think we've raised £400. I think we're at, and that's with all the costs gone. So it's a £400 profit. We're going to keep it as transparent as possible because we've got nothing to hide. So it's good. That's going to go towards tickets, shirts, and some exciting news is going to come pretty soon. But I'll not reveal that yet. But yeah, thank you very much for listening. I'm going to beg, hit the like, hit the subscribe, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, whatever you listen to your podcasts on.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like. That's it. Hey,
Spread the word.
Spread the word, yeah. But thank you very much for spending the last hour and 10 minutes with us. We love it. Roll on Friday. It's going to be a roller coaster season following Sheffield Wednesday. So, enjoy, and we will see you all real soon. And there's a retro throwback.
Up the Owls.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.